No.
Oh, there I am. Okay, cool. Welcome to this. It's good come back up. You're off to a great start.
That's the most professional start we've ever had.
I'm trying to do that intro music thing again that we tried. We introduced a couple of weeks ago of trying to come up with some intro music. I picked something random and
I thought a song was playing on the radio and you just decided, like, fuck it, I'm going to talk over it anyway. I can't hear you very well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. I noticed that my microphone was not set to go on air for the first 10 seconds of the show, so that's great. But we're here now, and we've got a great show planned.
Yes, we do. And for once, we're not lying. We actually do have
things planned. I know. I'm so excited. My goodness. What have we got? Why don't you tell the wonderful people what is on the agenda for today, Hannah?
So we're going to be talking about some celebrity conspiracy theories, some of our own theories that we have.
Of course.
And
I've got some gripes I'd like to bring to the table,
yes,
to be honest.
I'd love to hear those.
But all that and more coming up after this. It's Good Cop, Bad Cop on 3SSR.
Bert Newton.
You still going with that?
I had to say it.
It's starting to get a bit weird, I think.
I think that one day he will hear it.
You're tuned in to Swinburne's own student radio.
Welcome back to 3SSR. You're listening to Good Cop, Bad Cop.
And that is a very long outro.
Oh, was that still going?
I think so. It was like traffic noise or something. Welcome back. I've got a gripe I'd like to bring up.
Yes.
To be honest. Look, we've got a sort of themed show today in terms of the topics we're going to be talking about. This is not part of that theme, so I figured we'd get it out of the way early. I have a... Pardon me. Oh, my goodness.
You're right there.
It is that... I am that angry that it is causing a physical reaction in my throat. Google Maps, right? Do you use the Google Maps navigation?
Like on your phone?
On your phone, like when you're driving.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, right? It's really good. Takes into account all the traffic and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's better than a normal GPS.
I've had some issues with Google Maps.
Have you?
Yeah.
What sort of issues? Like taking you to the wrong spot?
Yeah, taking me to the wrong spot. Like, I was driving from Ballarat back home.
Yeah.
And, like, halfway through the trip, it goes, like, you're in the wrong direction. Go this way. And I went that way. And it's like, you're still going the wrong direction. Take this way. And then it ended up taking me back to Ballarat. What?
That sounds like a you problem.
Oh, a me problem.
Or maybe a
problem. Me.
Or maybe a your phone
Not
problem.
even...
I don't think that's Google Maps.
It was Google
It's not
Maps.
Google Maps' fault.
Tell me what you...
My biggest gripe with Google Maps, right, is it gives you an estimate of how long it's going to take, right? So it's happened a couple times now that I've looked at the phone, gone, oh, perfect. It's going to take 45 minutes. I go, go. That's going to get me there in plenty of time. And then as I'm driving, it starts to recalculate and update its estimate. And goes like, oh, it's actually going to be an hour. Oh, sorry, it's actually going to be an hour 15. Oh, actually, it's going to be an hour and a half. And like I'm like sitting there stuck in traffic, and it's updating like the number, the estimated time of arrival is counting up, not down. I'm very annoyed by that. But that's understandable.
Very stress-inducing.
That is understandable. I mean, the thing that really annoys me is when it does that during like the peak hour, and it's like, Google, you know that it's going to get really busy in 15 minutes. Just tell me how long it's actually going to take. Like, this is not unexpected traffic. That annoys me because it seems to only know...
Because it happens every single day.
Yeah, it seems to only know what the traffic is at that any given moment. But if you're on the computer, it'll tell you, oh no, it's going to take extra time because peak hour's then. But on the phone, it just knows what the traffic is at that moment. That's annoying, but that's not my gripe. My gripe is that after it has revised its estimate for friggin' 45 minutes longer than it should have been.
Yes.
It then has the nerve to congratulate itself on a good estimate. You arrive and this screen pops up that says, you've made it to 123 whatever street. 1 minute earlier than expected. It's like, no, it's 44 minutes later than expected. It's not 1 minute earlier than expected. You've changed the rules, Google. It's just... I've been burned by this too many times, and it's just the smugness of Google Maps at the end when it goes, oh, you've made it there in time. It's like, no, I haven't.
It's like
you just changed the rules on me. Exactly.
Just like changing like the rules of the game like halfway through just to suit itself.
Just frustrates me so much. I cannot be alone on this. If you are frustrated by Google Maps or any other piece of technology, text in 0427717930.
You
and
obviously
tell
don't
me-
ever want anybody to text in.
Frustrates me so much.
The thing is, like, it's a thing that's, like, so obvious that, like, so many people get annoyed by.
I know.
And it's obviously, like, a flaw in their formula.
Yes.
But it seems that, like, oh, like, whoever is the design or, like, behind, like, the
Just
technical
obviously hadn't
stuff.
thought about it. Like, all it needs is a thing in there to go, if we've had to update our estimate, don't congratulate ourselves on getting the estimate right.
Or to
Like-
ask for, like, how many stars do you give me? It's like,
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Another thing that apparently people find really annoying that's in the same vein is on the Apple Watch, right? You can, like, activate Siri. But because it needs to connect to the phone, it takes a couple seconds for Siri to come up. So a little message appears on the watch that says, hold on, I'll tap you when I'm ready. And it's like, okay, it's trying to be cutesy and you know, because it doesn't want to say, like, please wait for Siri. But it sounds so sassy. It's like, hold on, I'll tap you when I'm ready.
Why do they say tap you?
Oh, because the Apple Watch does this sort of tappy thing where it, like, feels like it's tapping you on the wrist.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works. But it's like, oh, it's just so infuriating. Like that and the Google Maps and all of these things. I hate it when technology is so
Doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. Because the thing you want to do when Google Maps has, like, miscalculated the length of the trip by an hour and a half is throw the phone through the window. You don't want it to congratulate itself on getting it right.
This isn't like the first, like, little, or not little, this is obviously is taking a,
Big thing to
a
miss.
great mental toll on you. But there's another thing, I think it was maybe like 6 months ago that you told me,
Yeah.
where you would have to turn left or something.
Oh goodness, yes, no, yes, with the tell me, yes, okay, so if you're driving along, right, and it's like you've got like 4 lanes of traffic, for instance, Google doesn't tell you whether the next turn is a right turn or a left turn until you're like 500 meters away from the intersection. And it's like, it's too late. If I'm in the left-hand lane, it is too late, Google, for you to tell me that I need to make a right turn in 200 meters. And there are 4 lanes of traffic for me to go across. It is not possible. I just wish Google would like I'd make a right-hand turn, and then if like the next turn is like 2 kilometers down the road, Google would go like, great, your next turn's in 2 kilometers to the right. That's all I need to know. And then, I need to get into that lane.
I thought Google did do that.
It doesn't sometimes. Like, if you already know you're turning right, sometimes it'll say, like, make a turn from the second from the right lane, if you need to do that.
Yep.
But it doesn't do it doesn't do it when I need it to do it.
Yeah.
It only does it half the time. I'd wish it did it every time. Because when the traffic's bad, like, sometimes there's just no time, no room to get across 4 lanes of traffic between when Google tells you need to and when you have to make the turn. That's my other gripe with Google Maps.
Maybe we should send this conversation to Google.
Maybe we should.
Yes.
The other thing...
Oh, it keeps going.
No, yeah, it doesn't even know when roads are.
What do you mean it doesn't know when?
It'll be like in 400 meters, keep left to stay on whatever street, right? Mm-hmm. And then you'll just keep driving, waiting for like a fork in the road or something. And then it'll be like in 5 meters, keep left, and it's just a straight road. It's like, what am I keeping left from, Google?
Isn't it because, like, some roads, even though they're, like, still straight, like, halfway through they change names or something?
But it's the same road. It's the same road. There is I don't know why. It just changes for some reason. And it's like, oh no, you've got to, it's like it reminds me at the same spot every time. Oh yeah, you just keep going straight ahead.
Well, what's the alternative? Like, not using Google
Don't
Maps?
say anything. Oh, for me.
Or use Melways?
God, no.
Or, like,
No.
public transport?
No. The alternative is for me to yell about it on the radio.
So,
That's what this is.
there's no
Why do you think I agreed to
alternative.
do this show?
just so you can have a bitch about Google.
Yeah.
6 months later, it's
So-
like, I finally get to have a conversation
The audience
that I want
size
to
is
have.
large enough that this might have a difference.
How many people listening? Actually, don't say it on there. Don't say it on there.
Okay, I'll tell you during this song. This is Good Cop Bad Cop on 3SSR. And if anyone out there knows who programs Google Maps, send them the link to this episode.
You're listening to 3SSR.
Welcome back to 3SSR. You're listening to me, Hannah, and Dominic with Good Cop, Bad Cop. Just gonna have a quick apology. I might sound a little bit yucky on the radio. I'm just going. I had a cold over the weekend, and so
I thought this was just normal.
you just always sound disgusting.
Well, I mean,
Hannah.
actually, to be fair, we're being quite sneaky and taking a week off. So I've sort of forgotten how to do the show.
Is you still recording?
I hope so. Yes, it's still recording.
Lovely.
All good. I may have recorded that song as well, so it's more work in the editing for the podcast. But
That's fine.
whatever.
It's all part of it. Anyways, so I wanted to talk about a theory that I came up with.
Okay.
With you.
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to bounce it off you, right?
Bounce away.
Right. So there's these conspiracy theories with celebrities, right?
Right.
And so I'll give you some examples.
Okay, yeah.
So there's one about, is it Katy Perry or Katy Perry?
Katy Perry.
Okay, Katy Perry.
Who's Katy Perry?
Oh, and ages ago, like, people saying it's Katy Perry.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, Katy Perry.
I don't think Catty is a name.
It could be.
Might be a descriptor. Might be what Taylor Swift calls her, is Katy Perry.
Anyways, so there's a rumor, or not a rumor, there's a conspiracy that she is JonBenet Ramsey.
What?
Do you know who JonBenet Ramsey is?
Yes.
Okay. So the conspiracy theory is that, that she didn't die.
Right.
And that she
became
grew up and she turned into
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
I mean, that seems unlikely. Yeah, I'd go with impossible, but anything can happen.
That's like one of the conspiracy theories. Another one is, Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, I know Avril Lavigne.
Yes, there's a conspiracy theory that years ago, she committed suicide.
Right.
And that a friend of hers who looked and sounded much similar to her took her place because the people who were like getting a lot of financial, gain from her, career were like, no, we don't want this to end. We're going to replace you with a lookalike.
It's a plan that obviously didn't work.
But it's.
When was the last time you heard an Avril Lavigne song?
Yeah, she's kind of like dropped off the face of the earth, isn't she? That's another conspiracy theory. Another conspiracy theory is like Kanye West.
Yeah, I know Kanye West.
Yes, he had like a couple of months ago, he was at a concert and then he had like a 20-minute rant up on stage.
Right, I think I heard about this.
Like the next day, I think he was in hospital.
Oh.
And there's a conspiracy theory that like he's a part of MK Ultra and he's a part of the mind control and he went to hospital to get reprogrammed and stuff like that.
Right.
Right. Anyways.
That seems, again, unlikely, but less impossible than Katy Perry being a dead child. So that's good.
There's all these conspiracy theories around these celebrities, right? And I think that these celebrities, they know about it. And
right.
Okay, so there's a music video that Katy Perry, like a music song that she released not too long ago. I think it's like Chained to the Rhythm.
Right.
I think that's what it's called. And the her music video is like all about like, being sucked in by like, I don't know. Stuff.
Right.
And people
I haven't heard the song.
Oh, no, we played it on our show.
Did we?
A couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't even remember.
Anyways, and people are like listening
I don't listen to this show.
We don't care about our own show. People were listening to this song and watching this music video and they were saying, oh my god, Katy Perry like knows things about like the Illuminati and like how like the government is controlling us and how we're like sucked into like this consumerist like propaganda and stuff like that and like no, Katy Perry knows things.
Well, I mean, she probably does. She knows how to make a hit record for one.
Like, I think that what's happening is these celebrities know about these conspiracies about themselves.
And they're like...
And then they just amp it up. Like, they just milk it for what it's worth, right? So
why wouldn't you? It makes a lot of sense.
The Avril Lavigne conspiracy, right?
You think she's fallen into obscurity in order to play up this...
The girl who apparently took her place...
Right.
Apparently her name was Melanie. And there's a photo of Avril Lavigne in a photo shoot, and she's holding up her hand with her palm to the camera.
Right.
And on her palm is written Melanie.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like these, like all these conspiracy theories, like they're probably complete rubbish, but they're
What if they're
playing.
not?
They're playing into it. I
Yeah.
love that, like they're playing into it, and all these people are like getting like so sucked in, and they're like, oh my god, they know things. Like,
yeah.
look at all these evidence to like support these conspiracy theories.
And you'd get people tuning in just for the conspiracy theories, wouldn't you?
Yes, so they're getting like all this attention, all this views, and they're like, it's bullshit. But like people are watching my product because they think that I have some like secrets that I want to share with the world. You know what I mean?
Should we spread some conspiracy theories about this show?
Oh,
And about us?
yes,
Like,
yes.
Just
What's a
low
conspiracy
key
theory that we
conspiracy theory?
could have about ourselves?
Could we be like lizard people?
No, we're not lizard people. Oh, no. It's something to do with Bert Newton.
You're actually Bert Newton's daughter.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, actually, maybe not, because that might be slander, and we might get into trouble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not Bert Newton's daughter. I have...
We don't know.
No, I don't.
Do we know? We don't know for sure.
I don't.
There is no way for us to know for sure that
I
you're
don't
not.
want Channel 9 to like release Bert Newton from his cage in their dungeon.
Be a great-
And then like and then like he just comes out and he's like I'm gonna
How good of a 60 Minutes special would that be, though? You reuniting with Bert Newton.
No, it wouldn't be 60 minutes, it'd be like the countdown that he used to do.
Oh, God. Yes, like the top
You know,
20 thing, yeah.
top 20 like
Oh my God,
court
top-
cases. Number one would be like the
Top
court
20
case between him and me.
children. 20 to 1 it was called, oh my God.
Yeah, it was. It was called 20 to 1.
Okay, so maybe not that. But, I mean, we'll come up with some conspiracy theory.
But
And like, spread it low-key around the internet.
You know what I mean? Like all these celebrities, like I love that, like this idea that they're like, these people are crazy, but I'm gonna like
But we're gonna-
work on it. I'm gonna like plant these little seeds, and people are just gonna go bonkers. Like they're just gonna lose their mind. They're
think
gonna
it's
think
great.
that I'm a part of the Illuminati, and I'm gonna get lots of views, and lots of people are gonna talk about me, and I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's perfectly fair. This is a good cop, bad cop. And praise the Illuminati. I mean, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to 3SSR. You're listening to Good Cop, Bad Cop. And so if you just tuned in, we're having a bit of discussion about like celebrity conspiracy theories.
Yeah, and I think we should probably just go into like conspiracy theories in
Continue
general.
on with our conversation.
Fascinating. Like,
Of course.
what do
but
you think the biggest conspiracy theory in the world is? Like, I'm pretty sure it's the moon landing, that we didn't go to the moon.
I think the biggest one, I think that one is the most well-known one.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest one is like the Illuminati, like New World Order.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I think that's the biggest one.
Well, let's hold off on New World Order, because I think that, like, New World Order is, like, the perfect conspiracy theory in some way.
What do you mean?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay, all right.
But let's talk about the moon landing, because that's my favourite conspiracy theory.
I don't know
because
much
it's
about
so
it, so you
absurd.
can tell me.
Well, I mean, so there's this theory that we never went to the moon. Or
Okay,
at least
no.
that the first moon landing never happened,
Yes.
which is ludicrous for a variety of reasons. I
So
mean,
wait, so you think that we did go to the moon?
Yes,
Okay.
obviously. Like, do you think we didn't? Like, how we...
So
How do we sit here?
in 1969,
Yes.
they said that like Neil Armstrong, first man that landed on the moon.
Yes.
I believe that we have been to the moon in our history, but I don't know if that particular event was the first time that we got there.
You think we might have been there before?
No, I think that we've been there after
well,
since then.
Why? Like, okay, so why do you have reservations about that?
It's just like, so if you look at the footage, you can see like the flags moving, and apparently that's not meant to be possible.
No.
There's different shadows. Which
Okay, this is
indicate
great because
different
I
light
know-
sources.
I know the rebuttal to all of these. It's perfect.
Excellent. Tell me.
Okay, flag moving.
Yep.
So the reason that the flag stands up is because there's actually two telescoping arms. One that digs into the ground and then another one to hold the flag out straight.
Yes, I know that. Yep.
But there's no air resistance there. So any movement you introduce to an object, like by planting it into the ground, it just keeps doing until, like, sort of entropy lets it all sort of settle down.
So follow through.
Yeah.
Essentially,
it'll just keep... So the flag, like, if it hadn't have waved, that would have been what would be concerning about it. But because it does sort of just wave there from the effect of being put down for a long time, there's no way to fake that.
So you're saying that I think it's like one of Newton's laws is like every action has like an equal and opposite reaction. So like by being moved,
it still has that inertia. Yeah. And then the shadow thing. There's a couple of different shadow things.
Sorry.
No, you're right. One of them is the there's I think, is there two shadows or something like that?
Like that. Yeah, like they're going in like different directions. Like it was like the one light source. They should be like coming from the same direction, going in the same direction.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember what the explanation is for that, but I remember being convinced by it. Mm. It's got something to do with the size of the light source relative to the location and things like that.
Okay.
And sort of angles and so on.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, if
there were more than one light source, you'd expect more than one shadow.
But there is not more than one light source. It's just the sun.
That's what I'm saying. So there's only one shadow.
But there isn't. I'm pretty sure if you look at the footage that there's like different shadows going in different directions. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's still only one shadow, isn't there?
Okay. So what? There's other things.
Yeah.
I think that are meant to support the idea that the moon landing was faked. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you look at some of the photos, like, I think there's, like, a rock which has, like, a number written in it when people say, like,
yes,
it was a prop from a different film.
Yeah.
And if there's, like...
I work in film. That doesn't happen. No one writes numbers on props. Why would you write numbers on props? That makes no sense whatsoever.
I don't know. And... yeah, I think like one of the cameras like automatically was putting like crosses over like little crosses
I'm
over
just
the
seeing
images.
That now.
And then one of them like wasn't able to be seen, or like they'd like missed one. There was another thing as well with the
okay, the crosshairs are part of the camera. Yes.
And they were saying that it had been like put on after.
Yeah, no, it's got no. I'm reading the Wikipedia article here that says that the crosshairs are part of the originals. Just the camera does that, and that on some copies, because of overexposure, the whites bleed a little bit, and it looks like things have been pasted over the crosshairs. But why would you paste objects over crosshairs? Like, that makes no sense. Why would you need to put more white onto the American flag?
I think the idea was that they had put something on the crosshairs and they'd forgotten about the crosshairs and they forgot to repaint it back on.
Yeah. I'm looking here at side-by-side originals versus scans. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe those originals are just better Photoshops. Who knows?
Yeah. It is.
I mean, the most compelling thing to me is that the video... I mean, the second most compelling thing to me is that the actual videotape technology to fake it didn't exist at the time. Okay.
So what technology is that?
So the technology to go to the moon existed, but the technology to fake going to the moon didn't. Because obviously, we've got footage of people on the moon and they're slower and they, jump and so on. Mm-hmm. And in order to generate that effect, you can do it by slowing down videotape.
Yep.
Except... at the time, we didn't have videotape systems that could do that. Like, that videotape technology didn't exist for another couple of years. And if it did, then the resolution would be much lower. Mm. And so the only other way to do it would be to film it with a film camera. Mm-hmm. And to do it. But then that has its own artifacts that aren't present in the footage.
Oh my God.
So the only way...
oh, no, you go.
The only way that it could happen, the only way that you could get that effect is if someone was actually in a low gravity environment. So that either means that we went to the moon or we went like close to the moon and faked it there. It's possible they could have built a soundstage on the moon and faked the footage there. But other than that...
I think this... do you know the director of The Shining?
Yes.
There
Not personally,
is,
but yes.
I don't know his name, but there's a conspiracy theory that he helped make the footage to fake the moon landing.
Yes.
And in The Shining, the little boy wears a jumper that says Apollo 13, I think.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, that's right. It's Kubrick. Kubrick directed.
Yes.
Stanley Kubrick, yeah.
And it comes back to this like thing of like celebrities like adding to their own conspiracy theory.
I mean, I think the biggest reason that I believe the Americans went to the moon is that Russia didn't call them out on it. If anyone would have anything to gain by proving that America didn't go to the moon, it's the Russians.
That's true.
They were in a space race, and there was never any hint that they hadn't gone.
I was gonna give an example of, but I'm not gonna even go there. I'm not gonna even touch it. It's just too trigger for this show. That's
the only like conspiracy theory I've ever really looked into, but I love it because it seems so absurd to me.
I feel like the world has just been taken over by like not being taken over, but like a lot of people have like really love the idea of conspiracy theories. Like we're like really interested and captured.
I think
by
so. I think we are.
Conspiracy theories.
I think we are.
Like there's the conspiracy theory about what's it when jets go over?
Oh yeah, like the what do they call them? The like the contrails.
The trails. The what are they called?
I think the
chemtrails.
The actual term is
chemtrails.
So they're actually called contrails and they're condensed water. But other than that,
there's this conspiracy theory that the government is putting chemicals in there and it's like a mind altering.
Yes, and in order for that to be true, the pilots of these planes would have to know that they were like hurting their own families as well, or the people putting them in there. So that doesn't seem very plausible to me.
What's another one? Let's have a look.
I think you can get into a really interesting discussion about why people believe in conspiracy theories.
I think the most ridiculous one is the lizard.
Oh, I know,
the
right?
reptile one.
The lizard people.
But the thing is, like, it has so much, like, belief and people, like, backing
Absolutely.
it. I don't understand, like, and I've like, specifically looked up, like, where's the proof? Like, it feels like there's just this one guy who's, like, just plucked an idea.
Really? And that's how it's all came about?
And then he's just like, oh, yeah, like, all these people are lizards. And it's like, well, okay, where's your evidence? Where's your proof? Where are you getting these ideas from? It's like, oh, the gods told me.
No, but I think there's a lot of confirmation bias too, because once you start looking for lizard people, you're going to see evidence of lizard people.
Okay,
and you get like
where are these?
I've seen a couple of clips. I've seen I think it was some American, maybe it was Bush or someone from that sort of era was giving a speech, and they were like. And it looked like they were like the greys in the room behind him. They're supposedly aliens, and it's not quite lizard people. But if you actually watch it, there's a mirror, and it's obviously the reflection of a cameraman's white shirt. Like it's very clearly not an alien. I've
seen a few videos of people where it was like a politician giving a speech, and like one of his I don't know, like bodyguards was like circling the room, and apparently like his face changed.
Yes, yeah, I've
Is
seen
that the
those
one that
as
you're
well.
talking
No,
about?
that's another one I've seen though.
And I was
it's
like looking at it like over and over and over again. I'm like, I can't see it. I cannot see it.
No, I've seen ones where like people's faces seem to like they're like holographic disguise drops for a second. It's like that is obviously some bad video compression. Like there's obviously just a YouTube glitch. Like.
And it's always like really bad footage, or it's like really like highly pixelated, or it's like very it's only on camera for like maybe a split second. Like you never ever get like really decent footage of anything.
I can't remember who it was. Someone though, I think it was a comedian had a theory about the Loch Ness monster. That the Loch Ness monster was actually blurry. And that's why nobody's ever taken a sharp photo of it. I'm not sure if that's the case with the lizard people. maybe they're just blurry, and that's why we don't have any sharp pictures of
Well,
them.
like the Loch Ness Monster is actually just a pixelated...
Maybe the Loch Ness Monster's
a
just blurry in real
pixelated-
life. Who knows?
That's ridiculous.
But we'll continue this discussion, I guess, after this.
Oh, we're going to a break.
Well, it's been a while. We've been chatting about this for a good 15 minutes.
That's a good idea. Okay. Sorry, guys.
You're listening to 3SSR Swinburne Student Radio.
Welcome back to Good Cop, Bad Cop here on 3SSR. We're talking conspiracy theories today.
Yes.
Taking a little bit of a darker, twisted turn. Because now we're going to look into... I've got a theory as to why people believe in conspiracy theories.
Yes.
And it has to do with the New World Order.
So, is this a conspiracy theory about a conspiracy theory?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, let's talk about the New World Order conspiracy theory, right? Because, I mean, you brought it up, you explain it.
Now that I just realized that I have to explain it, I'm like, do I really understand it? Okay, from my understanding, it's the idea that the population of the world is being controlled by a small amount of people,
Yep.
and we're being forced to do things that we don't really want to do, or subconsciously doing these things that we don't really want to do.
That's basically my understanding, and that this group of elites want to create this sort of New World Order. Mm-hmm. And I think in all of these cases, the term New World Order is very ill-defined.
I think it's a lot to do with control,
Yes,
controlling the people, controlling.
control and it's about control and power. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why people get so engrossed in conspiracy theories,
Okay.
because it gives them a sense of control. Because as fun as it is to talk about, we never went to the moon, blah blah blah, and that's a fairly, as far as conspiracy theories go, it's a fairly harmless one. But there are a lot of conspiracy theories that aren't. There are a lot that talk about tragedy, and that say that there were,
There's a
other
conspiracy
people behind
theory that's pretty hot right now, which is causing a lot of damage. And you, I think, were the one that first introduced me to this. It's Pizzagate.
yes,
The idea of these pizza shop is the center of these children sex trafficking.
yes,
And I think someone went into this
Hillary
restaurant
Clinton
where
was somehow involved.
Yeah, and Obama
Yep.
and these big American politicians. And I think someone went into this restaurant with a gun and
Yeah.
started threatening people.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And whenever there is a tragedy, you seem to get these sort of conspiracy theories popping out. Like Bush did 9/11 or something like that. Sandy Hook was staked. Those sort of things. And I think the reason people gravitate towards those sort of conspiracy theories is because it's pretty bloody terrifying. The world at the moment, and
It is.
and
crazy.
bad stuff happens. But at least if there's someone in control behind the scenes, then it's not just it's not random terribleness. At least there's a plan. At least it's not just a couple of horrible people doing these things in isolated incidents. At least somebody's in control of it all. Because if no one's in control of it all, that's what's scary.
I think a lot of people who are really interested in emotionally invested in these conspiracy theories about New World Order, Illuminati, we're being controlled by the elite.
Yeah.
They're we don't like that, and they're highly opposed to that. Have you felt that with people who are interested in conspiracy theories? They're like we're being controlled and
Yes,
stuff like that.
yeah.
They're highly not and they're trying to figure out a way of debunking it and
Yes,
bringing this down.
And that is we're not part of this group of people that are being misled. We're above it all. We know the truth.
We've been awakened.
And I mean, is that any different from any other sort of community? I think people gravitate towards conspiracy theories because it's just another way of belonging to a group and a way of feeling in control of your surroundings. And I think that's a great thing, but I think that it can also be really damaging
It's like large-scale gossip.
It is, yeah. It's like world-scale gossip. You're absolutely right. And that's, I think, why I find conspiracy theories, and particularly the people who believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, so fascinating.
There was another, the pizza, coming back to the Pizzagate conspiracy theory. There's another conspiracy, which is that the government... Do you want me to go a bit closer?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Sorry.
I sort of can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I thought I was too loud, so I was trying to
You're all good.
Stay away from the microphone. No, the idea is that the government, all these people have created this conspiracy theory, Pizzagate, to distract the people from another awful thing that's happening in the world. So everyone's like swarming to this event, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And putting all their focus and attention on this like ridiculous Pizzagate
It's like
conspiracy
multiple
theory.
levels of conspiracy theory.
Yeah, a conspiracy theory within a conspiracy theory.
I mean, that's the trouble with conspiracy theories, though, isn't it? Is that you want to dismiss them all out of hand. You want to go, oh, these people are just crazy, like it's obviously not true. And then it turns out that the NSA really is listening to everyone's phone calls.
Yes.
And that the government really is reading everyone's text messages. And you're like, oh, maybe some of these people are onto something. And then it becomes really tough to navigate this water of what is real and what are just some crackpots with a microphone.
It feels like there seems to be like a very fine line, like where you can be very, very interested in conspiracy theories, but you have to at one point be like, oh, that's interesting, but I'm not convinced. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like say like put my name towards that and be like, yes, I'm a believer and all this stuff. Like, I feel like I was watching a documentary last night about these group of people who believe that they have been stalked by the government and stuff like that, and they've like got like they've had like scans, like x-rays of their heads, and there's like implants in their heads, right?
Right.
So there's evidence, there's proof that there's like things have been like messed and played with their body and stuff like that. But the entire time, like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, even though like they had like the x-rays and they had like all this proof to back up what they were saying, I was just looking at them like, they're insane. They're totally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think that there's like that stigma to do with people who are like highly invested in like getting into conspiracy theories and stuff like that.
I think the other thing is, like you talk about, there's a particular category of conspiracy theory which is, which you mentioned before, which is that someone had been programmed to like commit a murder or something like that, or assassinate someone, which, as far as I know, is like totally possible. It's like it is totally possible to brainwash someone to carry out a horrific act.
They believe that that's how John Lennon was assassinated, because the man who did it was, I think, schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And they, like, I don't know if this is true, this is just like what I've been told, that they planted all this information into his head about like he was like, John Lennon was like a really terrible person, and they just set him free, you know,
And
like, oh, he's over there, you know what I mean?
It's like, how do you know? Like, that's completely possible, whether it's true or not.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that these things are facts. Just not saying that. Just want to put that out there.
It's just difficult to tell. That all being said, I mean, this isn't... we're not Alex Jones. This isn't that sort of radio program. So maybe we should
This has been...
bring this conversation to a close.
It's been pretty deep.
It's gotten very deep, yeah.
Oh, so before...
From the twerk master last week to talking deep psychology of conspiracy theorists.
If you haven't seen the Twerk Master, go to our YouTube channel. It's going to be up. And
Cutpodcast.com. We've got some fun content coming to the YouTube channel.
Very exciting.
Good. Just stay tuned for that. Let's not tell anyone what's on the YouTube channel.
I don't want to tell anyone.
I can tell people because I'm so excited about it. It's so cool.
Oh, no. So we just got like a little short animation of one of our old podcasts. I think it might be.
Yes.
From a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's going to be. So check out that. It's from... me. I did the animation.
Hannah has done a fantastic animation of a little clip from our show.
Yes.
So go and have a look at that. It's a goodcoppodcast.com. And you can do all all of the stuff there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to try and figure out how to get this on iTunes.
Yep.
So if you prefer to listen to your shows that way, we'll have more information about that hopefully next week. Did we mention that you have been on another program recently?
No, because we haven't had a radio show since then.
Since this got released, yeah. As some of our listeners might know, I do an additional podcast with my friend Morgan. And we have started together a third podcast in which we interview creative people about their creative exploits. And we thought, who better to have on our very first episode of Morgan and Dom Plus One than our very own Hannah Reid. So she is on the show. You can find that at morgananddom.com/+1. We'll also link to it from our YouTube today.
Yep. Check it out, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Go have a look. There's a whole lot of us to watch.
Yes,
so I would
definitely.
get on top of that very quickly because we'll be back next week.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much it. I think we've actually had a pretty good show.
Pretty good show. Went to some weird places, but other than that, very good.
Lovely. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good week.
You're listening to 3SSR.